because, it is just wonderful to be back in Oregon, and over the last 15 months we've traveled to every corner of the United States. I've now been in 57 states, I think one left to go.
Back in April 11th, recall that Lyndon LaRouche had identified the president formerly known as Barack Obama as a narcissistic personality, in which his policies driven by his ego would bring this country and the planet to death. Within a month of LaRouche's declaration, the self-loving president not only praised his bailout policy as the greatest American success, but proceeded to threaten the lives of people on behalf of his genocidalist masters in the British Empire through his health reform of an exact replica of Adolf Hitler's Mandate of 1939. In May, LaRouche nailed the administration's health plan as Nazi and led his organization to defeat it. This, while he continued to press on the real issue, being that the state of the world economy was accelerating towards its phase of complete disintegration. The only thing that will get us out of this, he said, was a move towards a new system, an unprecedented international credit system for long-term physical economic growth. The British stooge yet lost his marbles, especially after forgetting where he met his wife, and pursued ever-desperate measures to ram his policy of disposing of the weak, the old, and the terminally ill as useless eaters, while the system disintegrated. No one could tell this schmuck that Americans were losing everything, and that a policy of telling the defenseless, "Hey, why don't you guys just die?" was not going to sit very nicely with the American people. No, not this guy, who spends more time in bed with his mirror than he does with Michelle Obama. But after the weekend of LaRouche's recent webcast, as he predicted then, a very harsh reality came to hit Mr. Barack Obama.
Which will address his specific problems. You don't know where it is coming from. That's the bill. You are a fraud, and you're sending this person to death under the Obama plan. Where is it in this bill?
Both Democrats and Republicans were met with an infuriating revolt amongst the people, which no political group could have organized, and at the very least, knew that they should run for cover if they dared to continue to back or even tolerate the current administration's policy. Many congressmen, such as those from Florida and Maryland, were so terrorized that they began hosting virtual or televised town hall meeting events to avoid the mass strikes. Some were even forced to squeak, "I'm not with Pelosi or Obama." Initially, the administration dealt with the roaring population like any egomaniac would. Look, for example, on how Mr. Wrong reacted after Bill Clinton's success in obtaining the freedom of 2 journalists in North Korea. Bill Clinton accomplished what was otherwise impossible for Obama, given his personality. And as LaRouche anticipated, the executive would have an ego freakout, and he did when he proceeded to escalate his actions against North Korea. And yet still, the president and his goons claim that the clear message delivered by thousands of righteous mobs out there meant nothing. Nancy Pelosi came out earlier this week railing against the fact that many of the lynch mobs held signs alluding to the fact that what the administration was doing is Hitlerism. Now look, Ms. Honorable Speaker of the House, in reality, all we were trying to do was return the swastikas that you left overnight in our doghouses. And just for that attitude, don't expect Fido to pay your child support. Moreover, the screams of denial continued. White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs commented that the mobs are nothing more than a Brooks Brothers brigade and manufactured the anger. Yeah, I don't think so, Gibbs. DNC Executive Director Jan O'Malley sent out emails whining about the mass strikes and their harsh shouts to the congressmen, and the fact that they were derailing the president's health reform plans and trying to break him. First off, on derailing the health policy, duh, Miss DNC Executive. In case you're not aware, Arbeit macht frei is not a very popular slogan here in America. Of course, since none of this has been able to stop the angry citizens, the White House launched a surveillance program against all who propagandize against the Nazi reforms. The official White House release entitled "Facts Are Stubborn Things" details the Gestapo intent, in which the White House Director of News Media asserts that there is a lot of disinformation out there and encouraged citizens to report fishy speeches opposing the president's healthcare policies. The White House specifically targets private, unpublished, and casual speech, writing that rumors often travel just below the surface, that is, chain emails or through casual conversation. And states further, quote, "If you get an email or see something on the web about health insurance reform that seems fishy, send it to flag@whitehouse.gov, such as this report you are watching now." But these efforts are worthless. Representatives are all on the run, including now Nancy Pelosi, who had to flee the scene when an angry mob heard that she was in town. So the message is clear. The president and the majority of the Congress have been rejected by Americans because they have threatened the lives of people. There is a unified revolt against the Nazi health plan and the fact that they have lost everything. Their jobs, their pensions, their homes, while watching trillions of dollars worth of bailout money given to a pack of swindlers. And unless we move, and government leaders who know better move to immediately implement the policies of Lyndon LaRouche, then we will have an all-out French Revolution in our hands. But currently, the rage of the population is rational, especially given what is happening to them. So, what needs to be done is we need to put Obama's health plan in Hitler's grave where it belongs, and instead move to repeal the HMO law and replace it with the Hill-Burton hospital standards which worked and defended the needy. The bailout should be canceled, and the banks should be forced to return all that money right away, while instead we move towards placing the entire global financial monetary system under bankruptcy reorganization to implement LaRouche's International Fixed Exchange Rate credit system for long-term physical economic growth. We can accomplish this treaty with the combination of the four strategic powers of the world, the United States, Russia, China, and India. This is what we have to do now in place of this Nazi crap. And as for Obama, well, something tells me that he's somehow got the hint.
Michelle, grab the kids. We're going to the Grand Canyon.